Hello everybody, this is Dr. Caroline Maria, working as an assistant professor in Loyola College of Education, Chennai. The title of the course is Childhood and Growing Up, which is course 1. We are going to deal with Unit 4, Socializing Agencies of Child Development. This is part 1 video lecture which is going to deal with family and community as a socializing agency of child development. Under each family and community, we'll be discussing on 5 side headings: meaning and definition, characteristics, role of family or role of community in child development, factors affecting child development, measures to overcome the factors. The learner will be able to understand the role of family and community as a socializing agency of child development. Let's learn what is socialization. Socialization is the process by which an individual interacts with other individuals of the society to learn values, beliefs, skills, and ways of doing socially acceptable activities. An individual is born to a family and individual comes in contact with the entire society in order to learn. You cannot keep yourself aloof saying that you are comfortable without the society. Each and every person is the part and parcel of society. So the aim of socialization is to help an individual to get along with other individuals in order to get the social identity as well as to avoid isolation. Socialization occurs all throughout our life, but some of the most important socialization occurs in the childhood period. Socialization continues from generation to generation in order to establish the social identity. There are various definitions for socialization. To name a few, A.W. Green said, socialization is the process by which the child acquires a cultural content along with selfhood and personality. According to H.T. Mujumdar, socialization is a process whereby the original nature is transformed into human nature and the individual into a person. H.M. Johnson defined socialization as learning that enables the learner to perform social roles. There are various categories for socialization. Let's just discuss the two categories which are very important: primary socialization and secondary socialization. Primary socialization are the agencies as family, our neighborhood, etc., where they satisfy the basic needs as food, clothes, shelter, etc., and language development, skill development, self-identity, all are developed here. There are no strict rules and regulations followed in this primary socialization. Whereas in secondary socialization, like school, religion, media, society, and all, where they satisfy the secondary needs as safety, love, respect, and they give social training also, but they also follow strict rules and regulations. Let's discuss whether socialization is a boon or a bane. Socialization can be considered as an advantage because it determines our behavior. In contradictory, it even conditions our mind. Socialization helps us to develop moral values. In other words, it develops even immoral behavior among people. In one way, socialization helps us to develop our culture. In other way, it develops the cultural bias. In one way, socialization strengthens our relationship. In other way, it is weakening our relationship. Socialization gives a lot of opportunities to explore new ideas. Same way, socialization even brings inequality among the people. There are various agents of socialization. To name a few: family, school, peer group, religion, work, media, government, and community. Among all this, family plays a major role because family is considered to be the fundamental unit of any society. What is family? A group of individuals living under one roof. They are united by a custom called as marriage and usually under one head. Froebel said, Mothers are the ideal teachers, and informal education given in home is the most effective and natural education. Pestalozzi said, "House as the center of love and affection, it is the best place and the first school of the child." Ballard said, "Family is the original social institution from which all other institutions are developed." Frank said, "Family is the only institution which is an essential agency for the child learning, socialization, and for introducing the child into new culture for the society, thereby shaping his basic character, structure, and personality." There are three types of family: single parent family, nuclear family, and extended family. Let's see the characteristics of family. As I told you already, family is considered to be the fundamental unit of a human society. Group of persons united by the ties of marriage. Here, unity starts from the family by building up the relationship among one another. It is a universal structure. All over the world, you can see the structure of family. It is limited with respect to the number of members, that is, in respect to the size of the family. It is the center for the social organization. It is the smallest unit, even it could be even called as miniature of the society. There are so much of constructive influences happening there in the family with regard to the personality development. And the responsibility of family is shared by each member of the family. Family is considered to be the cradle for social values because which will inculcate the socially desirable values. It is a permanent institution because the basic relationship between the family members remain forever. What is the role of a family with regard to child development? First of all, language starts developing at family only. Whenever a child is born, mother is the first teacher who teaches the language to the child. So language development starts, development of various skills. Simple skills like brushing your teeth, combing your hair, dressing up, eating food, washing hands. So many skills are developed from family. Religious development also happens, starts from family because family members are teaching us what religion to follow, what are the rituals to follow, how to pray to God, what is the belief we do have. All these are told in the family. So our culture is transmitted from one generation to other generation by our family. So when a family is giving all these inputs for us, it will help us to create a sort of good interest and good habits. So habits and manners are inculcated from the family. So when parents are giving us very good values and life oriented principles, that helps us to develop the moral values and to develop very good character. So the innate tendency of each and every individual is identified in the family, and family is helping the individual to develop that in order to become an individual person by which the identity is established. And family provides a lot of opportunity for vocational education, various other experiences, etc. And it is a primary place for learning, and sense of belongingness starts from family. Then it is spread to the school, peer group, community, etc. In a nutshell, we could say overall development of all-round personality is possible from family. What are the qualities developed from family? So many qualities, to name a few: humility, patience, honesty, loyalty, sincerity, punctuality, justice, faithfulness, self confidence, tolerance, fear of God, caring, time management, hospitality, respect, adjustment, manners, forgiveness, politeness, obedience, courage, problem solving, etc. So many are there. Let's now discuss what are the factors in family which affect the child development. First of all, the educational status of the parent. If a parent is an illiterate parent or if a parent is educated parent, that both will affect the child development. And with regard to the socioeconomic status, high socioeconomic status, average, low or below, all socioeconomic status, or even the parent, those who are living under poverty, all this will create a great impact on child development. Parents who are with high socioeconomic status, they can afford a lot with regard to the child development of all the extracurricular activities. But the ones who are under poverty line, they cannot afford for all this. Occupation of parent is also playing a major role. Whether the parent is a government employed, private employed, self-employed or unemployed. Whether both parent working or single parent working, or whether the children are from celebrities, refugees or terrorists, all these will affect the child development. Parenting style, whether the parent is a very strict parent like autocratic parent or democratic parent or over pampering parent, whether the parent is a single parent, separated parent, remarried parent or single child or many children at home, all these are the influencing factors. Health of the parent plays a major role with regard to the child development. If the parent is sick or aged or disabled parent, or if a child is having transgender siblings, or if the children are adopted children, that will affect their development. The habits of parent also will affect the child development. If the parent are media addicted or alcoholic addicted or drug addicted, or if the parent are involved in any illegal affairs, or if the parent are always quarreling at home, which will affect the child development. Culture of parent, if the parent are married between intercaste or interreligion or interlanguage, interstate, internation, because each and every religion or caste, they do follow different rituals, different customs, as well as whether the parent are living in urban area or rural area, all these are the different factors which affect the child development. Let's now discuss on the measures to overcome the family factors which affect the child development. Let's discuss on the 5 dimensions of child development. First of all, with regard to the physical development. From family, the physical development starts. So, family is expected to provide nutritious and balanced diet and provide proper medical care, promote the physical activities and create a ventilated home environment. With regard to the emotional development, whenever the children are in need of anything, family should come forward to address all the required needs of the children, provide emotional support, advocate emotional maturity, increase the problem solving and decision making skills in the children. With regard to cognitive development, families should provide memory techniques, brainy activities, exposure to all the co-curricular and extracurricular activities, introducing more than one language. All this will develop the cognitive development in children. With regard to bedtime stories, the family is the one which starts with this bedtime stories. So moral development starts from the bedtime stories. Parents should set a role model with regard to the moral development. Whatever values we teach to our children, we should set a role model for that. With regard to the social development, encourage healthy interaction and relationship with others by sharing as well as by giving respect to everybody. So all these are the measures to overcome the factors which affect the child development with regard to family. Let's learn community as a socializing agency of child development. The mere word community combines of 2 words called com, which means togetherness, munus means to serve. Therefore, community means to serve with togetherness. What is community? Cluster of people living within a small area and sharing a common way of life and common experiences to a considerable extent. There are so many definitions for community. To name a few, McWer and Page said community is an area of social living marked by some degree of social coherence. The basis of community are locality and common sentiment. Ottaway said a community is everybody, adults and children, social and non-social persons living in a certain territory where all share a same mode of life. What are the characteristics of community? Community has a population. It lives in a territory. For example, I would say India is a community. Tamil Nadu is a community. Tamil Nadu people living in Tamil Nadu, Tamilians is a community. Maharashtrians is a community. So they live in a particular area and they have a historical heritage. They have certain philosophy and objective for life. They share a common mode of life with regard to their dressing style, with regard to their food habits, rituals, and all that belief, etc. It provides different kinds of services to its member through its very variety of institutions. And the members of the community, they work in cooperation and they help each other whenever there is a need. For example, if we are affected by any natural calamity, you could see people all join together coming forward to help one another. So that sort of sense of belongingness and unity could be seen among community. What is the role of community with regard to the child development? The role of community is very important because it is an informal and active agency of education. Because community provides the facility in the locality, in territory, in the form of schools. It undertakes several projects with regard to school improvement. You can see all these school improvement projects like SSA, your RMSA, RUSA by incorporating ABL, ALM, CCE. All these are the different school projects which are taken by the community. It establishes the social education centers as well as even public libraries. Community conducts the fairs, festivals, exhibitions which are great cultural, educational and recreational values. Community encourages experimentation in the curricula, as I said, ABL, ALM, CCE and all, and methods of teaching with regard to even technology enabled teaching. Community cooperates with the schools in providing better and effective teaching learning experiences. It influences on the physical development by establishing the parks. You could see in residential areas, parks are must, gardens are must, and playgrounds are established by the community. With regard to the cognitive development, establishment of public libraries, resource centers for learning, etc., are done by the community. With regard to the emotional development, all the cultural practices are given equal respect by which our emotional development is strengthened. Community strengthens the moral development by inculcating the values and ethics. It helps in social development by building the relationship between the neighboring states as well as the neighboring nations. What are the factors of community which will affect the child development? Let's see the control measures also simultaneously. Communal war is a factor which affects the child development. So in order to overcome that, we need to respect each and every other community. Antisocial activities are affecting the child development, but we need to overcome that by providing moral and value education. There are so many transport issues with regard to community we do have which affect the child development. In order to overcome that, we need to increase the transport facility. Language barriers are there in community which affects the child development. For example, if you take in Tamil Nadu, we do follow two language system. When you cross the border of Tamil Nadu, if you don't know Hindi, you will be alienated from others. You won't be able to communicate with others because Hindi is considered to be the national official language spoken by so many people. So, in order to avoid this language barrier, we need to have a common language and we need to go for learning other languages also. We do come across with a lot of environmental issues with regard to natural resources, water, pollution, air, and all this. So, this is a communal problem which will affect the child development. In order to overcome that, we need to come forward to preserve the environment. We do have a major problem called gender inequality among the community. Preferences is given for one particular gender alone. In order to avoid that, we need to go for gender equality. Ill health and unhygienic practices like spitting in the common public place and throwing all the trash on road, all these are the communal problems which will affect the child development. In order to avoid that, we need to maintain health and hygiene and keep our community, keep our surroundings spick and span. Political interferences also will affect the child development, so we need to avoid the political interferences. Unemployment is the major problem faced by community which affect the child development, so for which we need to create more employment opportunities for various levels. Media influence is the major influence which with regard to the child development. Media influence with regard to print, non-print, electronic and cinema, which creates a greater impact on child development. So we need to use the media constructively for the development of children. Developmental projects like construction of roads, railways, and all the other construction work and economic status of the nation also affect the child development. So, for which we need to increase the developmental projects as well as we need to increase the economy level of our nation. What are the key takeaways of this particular video lecture? Family and community should provide conducive and peaceful environment for children. Family and community should understand the children by spending quality time with them, and they should provide opportunities for the children for their self-expression to participate in recreational and constructive activities. And family and community should develop a reading habit in the children with regard to newspaper or magazine or books by which they can gain a lot of knowledge, and they should provide right type of religious education by which they should know and respect the other religion, and family and community should enhance the decision making problem solving skills in the children. Let's discuss some points for us to reflect on. Analyze any two important problems of a community which will affect the child development. As a parent, what is your plan to provide a conducive learning environment for your child's all-round development? These are some of the books for your further reading. Thank you for listening, students. Wish you all good luck.